I'm just here in the keyboard, in bed, of course. I'll probably try to get up a little later on and get to my keyboard in the music room. Right now, I'm in bed, making no excuses to not to practice. As long as my hands are working, my mouth is working. My legs ain't working, but they just down there. But my back is sore from me going through this valley fever stuff. So anyway, all right. So let's do some breaking down of some chords. But let's learn our scales: C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And the thing is that the keyboard repeats itself even from here. This is a 61 keyboard. Alright, 61 keyboard. I don't have no transpose buttons on here, so I can't be hitting transpose and all that kind of stuff. So I just gotta play what comes to the mind. So C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. It repeats itself. This just the octave lower C. The low. I call this the low. This the low area. Then we have the low area of the C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So that's another set of 7 keys that I just played. C is the 1, D2, E3, F4, G number 5, A number 6, B number 7. It repeats again. C, that was the low. I'm gonna call that the low area. All right. I also use the word ranging because you never know where the keyboard player might range his chords or the location. So this is another C. 1, D2, E3, F number 4, G number 5, B number 6. I'm sorry. C is number 1, D2, E3, F4, G5, A6, and back to number 7 again, which is B. And then we have, I call this mid-range. C is 1, D2, E3, F number 4, G number 5, number 6 is A again, and back to B. So now we have mid-range, low range, and the low range. Then we have a C again. C is the 1, D2, E3, F4, G5, A number 6, number 7 again, 7 notes. I'm gonna call this the high range. And then I have another 6 notes. C again, D, C1, D2, E3, F4, G5, number 6 is A, number 7 is B, and the last note back to C. I'm gonna call this the highest range. All right, so now I have my highest range, right? I have my high range, I have my mid range, I have my low range, and I have my low range. Half the battle. All right, now we can do the same thing with the black notes. My low range, D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. 7, those are 5 notes there. That's the low range. Let's go to the low range. Same thing, D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. So we have the low range, 5 notes there, or 5 keys. And then we have the low range. Now we're going to the mid range, just like I did here. D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. It just repeats over again. Once you know what your notes are, it repeats over and over again. So the mid range, and then we have the high range. D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. And then I'm gonna have my highest range. D flat, E flat, G flat, A flat, B flat. It repeats again. Your white notes repeat, which is 7 notes, starting from the C, ending the B. Starts with the C, ending the B. So I have the low range, and then I have the low range, then I have my mid range, and then I have a high range, and then I have my highest range. Half the battle was over with. Then I know that I have 2 hands, thank God, praise the Lord, right? With 4 fingers technically on each hand, left to right, and a thumb. Half the battle is over with. Now, what you ended up learning was your scales and your number system at the same time. I taught the number system and the scales at the same time. Now, what if I said, let's do a continuation of the number system? We're gonna go ahead and start with this one here on the low range, and then the mid range. So after 7 comes what? Yeah, that's right, 8. So my C now becomes an 8 in the mid range. Right? Mid range, my D becomes now what number? 9. It's still the same note, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Still gonna be the same notes. And I have C down here. D, E, F, G, A, and B. But the number is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're doing the word continuation of the number system. And now my C in the mid range now becomes an 8. My D becomes now what number? After 8 comes, that's right, 9. After 9 comes what? 10, which is E. Right? F is now what number? 11. G is 12. And A is number what? 13. And people may say go back to the 7, which is B. I've never really heard anybody say 14 and then back to the 1. So you probably gonna hear people say go back to the 7 and then you back to the 1. That's what they mean by continuation of the number system. Of course, we have extensions where you may play chords outside here. Right? And that was after the 14 technically. You're not gonna hear people say, oh, I'll go to the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You may hear people use the word extension, right? You're just extending the chord out. I can play the same chord here as I could play it here. You're just extending the chord out. Well, I may use some of the notes that's in the scale, or the C scale, by the way, which would be the 5, the 1, the 2, and the 5. Now, y'all probably say, it depending on what I was doing with my left hand. My left hand was doing the 1 down at the bottom, of course, the 3, the 5, and the 7, right? But at the top of my right hand, I'm carrying the 5. I'm not gonna call it 12. It's the 5. Right at the top, I might go ahead and call it the 1 or the 8. Even I told you the 8 could be here. That's the 2, which is also the 9, and the 5. So I'm just using some of the same notes in the scale, which was G, all right, C, and D, technically, and G, because those are the notes that are in the scale. Even though it was a sus4 chord and a sus2 chord. What? A G sus4 chord and a C sus2 chord. I also can use what we call the D, which is the 2, which is the 9, put it here, the 5, and then the 1 or 8, whatever you want to call it. Right? That's the D7 sus4 chord. Or I could have placed it here. What? Alright, so because I'm still using some of the same notes that's in the actual scale, the number system, the notes, in the scale. So that gave me that nice voicing, which is still the major 7 chord down at the bottom, which is my 7th. But if I say this is the major 9, because 8, 9, right, is a C major 9 chord. Oh. All I did was double up the G note, which is the 5 or the 12. And I just put the 1 at the top. So still at the end of the day, I'm playing a C major 9 chord. No matter what I do. Even if I take the D, put it here, I'm still playing a C what? Major 9 chord because of the 2, the 9. So it doesn't matter if I go to the sus2 here, underneath, I'm still playing a C major 9 chord. Right? The secret sauce chord. And whether I go to the sus2, the secret sauce chord, or the G sus4 chord, I'm still playing the same chord. Name, right? The name of the chord I'm playing is a C major 9 chord. Because I already knew this is the 1 or the 8. I already knew this is the 5 or the 12. Right? And so you hear musicians play it. And knowing that they can go from the sus2, C sus2, to the G sus4, and knowing that they can go to the D7 sus4 chord, it's still gonna give me the C major 9 chord. No matter how I address it, still gonna be a C major 9. Remember that's 7, 8, 9. That apply to any other key that you want to do this in. It doesn't matter what key you want to do, from C to B or A or whatever. This application applies to all 12 keys. If I went to play a B major 7 chord, right? I understand I could play the sus2, the B sus2. I also know that I can do it's inversion, the same thing. The C sharp, because I mean B now, and I can play the C sharp 7 sus 4 chord. And the F sharp sus 4 chord. Right? Oh, in any key. Any key. Alright? You go any key. You go to A with it. Alright? As long as you know you're playing an A major 7. Immediately my finger is gonna automatically say play the sus2 chord. Any key. Because I understand the sus2 chord. Right? I can take that bottom note, put it at the top. And this would be a B7 sus 4 chord. Take the bottom note B, and right, put it at the top. I have a E sus 4 chord. Right. Alright, so the rules follow suit for any key. Told you I'm not transposing with the using a button on here. You just gotta understand that you playing the B major 9 chord. Doesn't matter whether I'm doing the sus2, the secret sauce chord, or the sus 4 chord. I say secret sauce chord, but it's a C sharp 7 sus 4 chord. And you hear this all the time when people doing. There it is. Now I'm I'm using the tritone. you right now by using the tritone because I'm hitting the bottom, which is E flat. Okay, if I know my scale E flat is this changes the name of the chord. 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Even though I'm using, I said the word C sharp right earlier. C sharp 7 sus 4 chord, but my bottom is E flat. Then I have to change that note to D flat 7 sus 4 chord now. Specifically, well, as soon as I drop the tritone, then that changes the name of the chord I'm playing. So it's got to be E flat minor something or major something. So let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 E flat scale. Right? That's why it's important to learn your scale. Right? I'm on a different chord now, right? Okay. So now if I look at my finger, I realize that my finger dropped down to a flat 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 5. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 6. Actually, I think that's flat 5. Hold on. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 5. Alright, so I have an E flat. This is technically my tritone right here. Technically. That's the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So basically, I'm hitting E flat major 7 with a flat 5. 3, 4, 5. You already pretty much know the chord I'm doing now at this point. With the flat 5. Right, so then we had the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that meant if the 7 got half step back, then now we're playing the E flat minor 7 with the flat 5 because I flat the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Flat the 7, half step back. So that makes me now play E flat minor 7 with the flat 5. What? So you can create chords by knowing your number system or your scales, pretty much. But that's what's happening here. Using the scale to kind of help out. I'm not an expert in this, but I just do know I'm playing an E flat major 7. That's an E flat major 7 because I have the 1, the 5, right? I'm sorry, the 1, the 3, the 5, and then the 7. So if I flat the 7, flat the 5. So now I have 1, 3, flat 5, right? So E flat major 7 with a flat 5. It's almost like saying flat 5. It's almost like saying it. You know what I'm saying? 1, 2, and a 3. Right? So yeah, so now I know I'm playing the E flat major chord, right? E flat 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. Almost like it's saying it to you. 1, 3, 5, 7. Now, what if I flat the 7 and flat 5? So now I have an E flat minor, because now I ended up minor in the 7. E flat minor 7 with the flat 5 all day. Now, what the rest of the fingers are doing in the scale 1, 2, like this 1, 2, 3, doesn't really, I wasn't gonna say it doesn't really matter, but. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I end up flat the 6, which is the 13. So you have a E flat minor 7 with a flat 5, with the 13, flat 13. And you hear this all the time. So So yeah, so that was an E flat major 7 with the flat 5 with the 13. Remember the scale. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I ended up flatting the 13. So the 13 got flat. Now, people might say you're playing an E flat, well, E flat minor 7 with a flat 5, flat 13. Because you can't say add, right? So that's what's happening there. And you hear this all day, right? So I went up, transposed up. What am I playing? If I know my scale, that's why I said learn your scales. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, natural, C sharp, D sharp, and E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Matter of fact, that's a chord too, matter of fact. In case you didn't know that, but you can create a chord from doing it. Matter of fact, Devin did a song, I can't remember what it was called, Great is Your Mercy, I think it was. He used Great is Your Mercy. I think he started. I had to listen to it, and then you guys will see where that chord came from. That's where you got that chord from the scale. Your chords are generated from your scale all day. So once you understand your scales, the number system and scales go together. They're not separated. And this is what creates chords. In my left hand, I can play the 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 all day. Dun, dun, dun. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 all day. And then what you do in your right hand is, you can play the major chord, whatever major chord comes to your mind, a C major chord, D flat half step up. I'm playing that 3-finger chord all day. It's in the scale. Only thing I'm omitting is the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I could do that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and go to B flat. C. My triad: C major, B major, B flat, and I'll come with this voicing. What? Right, Well, I'll have to do some leading to it. Ooh, did y'all hear that? I got a C major. All right. I went to another move. Ooh, and now I'm headed to that 1, 2, 3 B flat major. I just transposed. What? Y'all hear that? All I did was major. Took the C major chord, back down to D major chord. Now watch this. I could move the left hand and transpose. Woo, that is dope. Or I could have left that left hand and go to the B flat. Or transpose my 3-finger chord all day. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. F, 1, 2, in the scale of F, 1, 2, 3. In the scale of E, 1, 2, 3. E flat, 1, 2, 3. And D, 1, 2, 3. D flat, 1, 2, 3. And C, 1, 2, 3 all day. And major chord transposing. So all the chord keys going half step down. Let's start with here. Until it gets dark. Woo. I just went from C major, B major, B flat, A flat, G, right, F sharp, until it got dark. using the major chord. Now I might use what in the right hand, the major chord add 2. We use the word 9, add 2. F sharp major chord, I'm like adding 2. But because the left hand is playing those 3-finger notes, right? The 3-finger scale basically, then it allows me to have a major 9 chord all day. F major 9, E major 9, right? F major 9, E major 9, E flat major 9, D major 9, D flat major 9, C major 9, B major 9, and B flat major 9. B flat major 9 all day. A major 9 chord all day. It's starting to get dark, right? And I'm just following that little 3-finger chord. That's my friend. That's my best friend. It became my best friend for many years now that I started doing it. I'm like, oh, and y'all know, y'all hear it. All day, major 9, major 9, major 9. You can also go minor. You can go to minor move. Now, when I say minor, we have, for my new beginner musician, there's always a saying, where it is the major chord, there's a minor chord. And it's the half step down from your major chord. C major chord, half step your third, you got a minor chord. You have a B major chord, half step back the third, with a minor chord all day. B flat major chord, half step back the third, and you have the minor chord all day. Right? It just depends on what inversion you want to use, root position, or do you want to use the first inversion? I'm feeling that first inversion. I'm feeling that 3-finger chord movement. Now I'm in F scale now. Alright. So now I'm playing the minor chord in the right hand versus me playing a C major chord. Then I switched up and hit you with the minor chord. Big difference, right? Okay. All right. So, am I still playing the same kind of chord? Yes, because this is major, and I didn't minor anything along the way, so I'm still playing a F major 9 chord. This is the 1, 2, 3. That's my 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continuation, 9. Right. Yep. So I'm still playing a F major 9 chord. I'm just switching up from the major move to a minor chord, root position, first inversion. All day. And you transpose up. Right? You're just transposing it. And I'm just transposing the minor chord first inversion. Right? Still playing the major 9 chord. Major 9 chord. Now, when we get into the minor 9 chord, then that's going to change my approach to the minor 9 chord. So how we do that is, if you don't know this from my beginner musician, Your 1 is C major. Your 2 is D minor. And now we're going to get into the minor 9 chord, just like that. I had listened to this one guy on a video, and he explained how to get to the minor 9 chord. And I'm like, bro, he took us to Timbuktu. I was in my sleep and I was listening to him. I'm like, bro, why did you take these people the long route to get to the minor 9 chord? I'm like, bro, I mean, when I say he took everybody, I was like bored to the death. I'm like, bro, all you had to tell people with the Nashville system, everything I'm doing is the Nashville system so far. With the scale, this is the Nashville system, okay? Your scales, the number system. And now the chords associated to the 1. C major, that's the 1. What's the 2 chord? D minor. And we're going to get right on straight on to the minor 9 chord immediately. All right? Remember, we have our 7 in the scale, okay? So, we have the major chord and the minor chord, D minor. All I'm going to do is take the 1 chord, which is the 1 chord, and put it in the right hand, which would have been a 1, 3, 5. Duh. My 2 chord is a minor chord, D minor. Right? If I took this finger, half stepped it up, we have a D major chord. If I flat the 3rd in the D scale, 1, 2, 3, flat the 3rd, I have a D minor. Remember I said a major chord, whatever is the major chord, there's going to be a minor chord. And that's all you had to say. And then now you would have a D minor 9 chord. Okay, now you know your scale in D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9. Right? Because I'm counting, doing a continuation, right? So here we go. So we have the D scale. Now, we have to look at the C scale because the D, technically in C scale, is the 2. We also know this is the 9. And we know this is the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. F is the 4. And we know the 6 is A, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just think of the fact that you have in the D scale the 2 or the 9, the 4 or the 11. Basically, I'm giving it away actually. And then we have the 6 to 13 in the left hand technically. The right hand, because we took the C major chord, which was the Nashville system, and we put it at the top. Technically, this is technically the 1. And our D, E is technically what? The 3. And then we have the 4. I'm sorry, the 5, which is G. So we have now a D minor 9 chord. What? D minor 9. Because now I took the chord from the C scale and put it in the D scale. And because I knew I can go from C major to D flat to D major, I knew that I can flat the 3rd and then transpose the right hand back down to the C major chord. And that gave me a D minor 9 chord. So if I know my scale in D, that's the 1, flat the 3rd, right? And this is the 5. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 5. All right, that's the 6. Right, that's the 7 in the scale. So what I had to do was flat the 7. That drops me down to a D minor 7 chord. Oh, because the D scale has C sharp, so I had to flat the 7 down to C, giving me a D minor 7 chord. It's just a D minor chord here without that, right? Because it would be the 1, flat 3rd, right, and the 5. And now we have the 6, number 7. Technically back to the 1 or number 8. Remember the continuation of the number system, y'all. So I got to the 7. I said, wait a minute. Oh. So technically this chord, with the minor move here, we have a D minor major 7. Because of the scale. 5, 6, 7. D major 7. Technically, if I went right here, that would give me a D major 7. So I ended up minor the 3rd. So now we have a D minor major 7. Because that's 7. 6, 7. Now, to make it a D minor 7, I have to flat the 7th. Half step back. Oh, okay. And then we go back to the 1, which is 8, right? Then we have the 2, which is E, which makes it now number 9. There's that C major chord finna come up on us in a second. So now we have a D minor 7. Now we have a D minor 9. D minor 9. Now we're gonna have a D minor 9 11 in a second because of why? Why? Why is that? It's because of the G. Because in the D scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 is the 11 in the D scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? G is the 4, remember? 5, 6, 7, back to the 1, but 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, so we have a D minor 9, 11. 9, 11. So we have a D minor. So remember I said earlier, this is D major, D minor 7 with the D minor major 7. So we have to flat the 7 to make it go to a D minor 7. Half step back. So now we have the 8, which is the 1. And then we have the 2, which is now the 9. 8, 9. So now we have a D minor 9. D minor 9. Right? As I continue to up the scale, that's the 9, right? 10, 11, and then there it is, D minor 9, 11 chord. It just happens to be in the, well, when I say happens, it is going to be in your Nashville system. And that was the quickest way to get to your minor 9, 11 chord, or your minor 9 chord, right? Right. So, because you know your A major chord down here. Same scenario. All I have to do is know what's the next chord after my major chord on the 1. That's right, B minor. Right? Right. So my next chord is B minor. So all I had to do was switch hands, switch the chord, and put the B minor on the bottom. And put the A major chord on the top. And I'll have it an A minor 9, 11 chord. Just that quick. Because I understood the 2 chords, the major move and the minor move in that scale. So, basically your 1 is C major, 2 is your minor chord, number 3 is your E minor chord, number 4 is your F major chord, right? Number 5 is your G major chord, number 6 is your A minor chord, and number 7 is your diminished chord. And I add the 6 to it. 6 in the scale of B, and making you play a B diminished 7 chord. Right? It's that simple. And guess what? We back to the 1 chord. What key was I doing this in? I forgot what key I was doing. All right. And then you back to the major chord, the 1. And it doesn't matter what key you do this in. If you go to A, I have A as my 1, B minor is the 2, C sharp minus 3, number 4 is D major, number 5 is E major, number 6 is F sharp minor, all right, number 7 is G sharp diminished 7, and guess what? I'm back to the 1. is take my 1 chord, put it in the right hand, and take my 2 chord, which is B minor, and put it in the left hand, and I have a B minor 9/11 chord all day. I want to take this up, the next step up. I will just apply the same rule and go up with it. Well, I have a minor chord here. I have a C major chord in the left hand. I can minor the 3rd. All right, and do the same thing, right? Minor the 3rd, and then what chord did I put with it? That's right, B flat. Because y'all already heard me playing these chords already, and I put a B flat with it. And now, because earlier I heard A major, I had stepped it up. Transpose, transpose. Oh, that wasn't as difficult as it looked like it seemed, but it's in the chord, it's in the Nashville system. So, yes, now I have a C minor 9/11 chord because I know my scale in C scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And remember, I have to B flat, E flat, and C minor. So C minor, E flat, G minor, B flat, all related to each other all day, right? Creates this minor 9/11 chord. If I don't want the 11 chord, then I'll just take off the 11. I'm trying to think, what's the song that uses this? Hold on, let me see. What's the name of the song? Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. See, I can use the G, the F, or the B flat. This depends on what the voicing is.